Hello and thanks for joining me. I haven't done one of these COVID videos for a while, but I came across something recently that gave me a good laugh, but I also thought I probably should do a little video for you, so I hope you enjoy it. But recently I came across this fanciful narrative that somehow vaccines protect us against COVID-19, but they don't protect us against the unvaccinated. And I know some of you are already laughing your heads off, but some might be wondering, yeah, what's wrong with that? Well, let me tell you, if vaccines work, and they do, and they were designed to protect us against COVID-19, then they protect us against COVID-19 irrespective of which direction it comes from, whether it's floating in the air, whether it's from a fully vaccinated person who has had the misfortune of falling sick with the disease regardless, or a person who is unvaccinated. Irrespective of where it comes from, those who are vaccinated are protected against the disease. So it's just totally illogical to think that vaccines protect us against COVID-19, but they don't protect us against the unvaccinated. For me, though, what's really interesting is, how is it that some actually believe this? And I think many, once they stop to think about it, see right through it. But many others, it seems, actually believe it, whether it's the politicians or various media outlets or retail stores or educational institutions. It's astonishing to me. When you think of, however, the way we've come or where we've come from, it's not so surprising. Let me just recap for a minute. We've had about 21 months of a steady diet of fear and alarmism. Now, I don't know about you, but how long can you withstand constant fearful stories day in, day out? Every time you turn the TV on, watch something on social media, read an article in a newspaper, how often can you be fed with a steady diet of fear before sooner or later some of that fear beginning to touch you and to actually grow on you? So that's number one. Secondly, then for several months now, we've had a steady stream of coercion where many people were threatened with loss of livelihood if they refused to get jabbed by a particular period of time. When you put those two things together, then you don't get surprised when after a while people, and many people it seems, start believing whatever is said by government officials or by the mainstream media. In other words, after a while, people being presented with fear and with coercion, they lose the ability to think independently and critically. And now we have brainwashing taking place. So what's actually very interesting about this scenario and this fanciful narrative, on the one hand, there's something humorous about it. On the other hand, it's something that should actually cause us a fair degree of alarm, because it's the kind of narrative that actually permits members of society to be prejudicial and victimizing towards others who, for one reason, in this case, one reason or another, have chosen not to be vaccinated, at least for the time being, it seems, or maybe not at all. But irrespective of their reasoning, this kind of narrative actually creates that scenario. And not only is it non-scientific, it's just completely false, but because of what's gone on before, the steady diet of fear and the alarmism, then the brainwashing does take place. So I just invite you to be critical of what you hear. Ask questions. If you don't have the know-how or the ability to go and research things independently yourself to find out the medical reasons, then talk to others who can, because it's in remaining and maintaining our independent critical thinking of what is fed to us, especially about this pandemic, that will enable us to maintain that clear-headedness and an ability to sift through what is truth and what is falsehood. You see, when truth isn't the real desire about a lot of these reports, whether by journalists or by politicians, or regardless from which direction it comes, when truth isn't the real interest, and I mean the correct science, then science is no longer important, and it's about changing people's perceptions of the world and perceptions ultimately of one another. And if we give in to this kind of thinking, then a free Australia very quickly becomes another kind of Australia. And where Australia no longer respects the individual freedom of its citizens, then our democracy begins to be under some kind of a cloud. And national unity requires that everybody respects everybody else, regardless of what their views are on various topics. And so I just share this with you because on the one hand it gave me a laugh, on the other hand it also gave me cause for concern, because I know that it can only be a destructive, prejudicial line that doesn't help for unity amongst Australians but division. Thank you for joining me. If you've liked this video, please press like, subscribe and the bell to get future notifications, and I look forward to you joining me again very soon.